Welcome to AP Lang. AP Lang is a college level course, and yes, you are forced to fee college board money to take the AP exam at the end of the school year. But don't worry, AP Lang looks good for college and it will also help out your GPA. And I promise you that this is the English class that you will learn the most in out of basically every single English class you've ever taken. Over the course of the school year, you will read many books, write more essays than you asked for, and present tons of projects. Some of the books that we have read this school year include Lord of the Flies, 1984, and you also get to read some choice books. And please actually read the book because you will have a terrible time on the reading checks otherwise, but SparkNotes does help clear up the plot sometimes. Oh, and if you don't like speaking in front of the class, sucks to be you because you better get used to presenting projects and giving speeches. If that doesn't faze you for some reason, then maybe the time rights will. Don't stress too hard after hearing the words timed writes though, because you will most definitely be eased into the timed writing process. You will learn how to write 3 types of essays throughout the year: synthesis, argument, and rhetorical analysis. I won't go too much into detail on the different types because someone will explain that later. After all, I wouldn't want to steal their thunder. But overall, AP Lang isn't that bad. It's not as hard as you would think, and it's only as hard as you want to make it. Like, if you only depend on reading just SparkNotes for the quizzes and not knowing how to write an essay by just not paying attention in class, you're gonna have a very rough time. So let me hand the baton over to someone that can write well and give you guys some useful tips on how not to fail your essays.
Now, here's how to write well in AP Lang. This course is all about rhetoric and tests your ability to understand how authors use language and rhetoric to convey their purpose. Similarly, AP Lang students are expected to use these techniques in their own writing and projects. AP Lang is filled with heavy reading, and so is the AP exam. You will be expected to learn how to read these things quickly and understand them. One of the easiest ways to improve is by incorporating reading into your daily schedule. And by reading, this doesn't mean BuzzFeed style lists and articles. This means actually reading smart fiction and nonfiction and annotating it. This can help you engage with passages on the exam and apply the rhetoric you read to your own writing. Here are some tips that can help you improve your writing skills. Number 1, vary your sentence structure. This can be done using syntax. Syntax is about how the author uses grammar to manipulate the effect that sentences have on the audience. You'll spend a lot of time working on this in class, and you should pay attention to how the structure of a sentence is used strategically. Number 2, be clear and concise. You should always avoid clutter in your writing. So you should get rid of any unnecessary or repetitive words to convey your message. On the other hand, some people actually use clutter intentionally, like the government or other corporations, to avoid responsibility or hide information, so you should always be on the lookout for that. This is where diction comes in. Diction is all about word choice and focuses on how specific words can evoke a particular emotion. A good thing to know is that the emotional meaning communicates tone, which effectively communicates the author's purpose. Also, never say the author uses diction in your writing. It literally means word choice. If you decide to acknowledge diction in your writing, you'll have to talk about the type of diction, which can range from the formality of it, the connotation, if it's monosyllabic or has multiple syllables, or if it uses slang. Another piece of advice would be to use more commentary than quotes. Commentary is important to your essay because this is where the writer explains how the evidence proves the thesis. The writer comments on the evidence to point out what this evidence shows. It can be done by offering an opinion, an interpretation, a reaction, or an insight. And one final thing to remember is to avoid logical fallacies at all costs. Logical fallacies are a huge weakness in writing, and they happen when you fail to make a logical connection between your claim and your evidence. They should pretty much be avoided at all costs. Like, just don't use them. But they are sometimes used to manipulate people or deceive them in writing. Logical fallacies can be like tricks or illusions of thought, and they can range from a false dilemma, a slippery slope, circular reasoning, or a hasty generalization.
Alright, you've paid $98, spent the last night trying to balance 10 potato chips on your head, and it's 5 minutes before the exam. Make sure that you cross out 2, you think critically, and you answer every question. And, that's about it.
You may begin the MCQ portion of the AP Lang exam. Good luck.
Hey, don't get distracted while taking the test.
Five minutes remaining. Time's up. Pencils down, take a short break and get ready to begin the free response portion.
Did you bring anything to eat? Well, I got just the thing for you. Whoa, a wild test taker.
How did you do on section 1? A lot of people say that the essay part of the exam is easier since you only get 60 minutes for the MCQ section to read the 5 passages and answer the 45 questions. Don't worry, the essay section is much longer. You get 2 hours and 15 minutes. And one last thing.
Shut up.
Alright, FRQ time. You got this. Good luck. How do you spell pawn?
U-P-O-N.
That's so good.
You can't write that, it's too cliche. And at least establish a line of reasoning and write a thesis. And go away. I can't talk to you.
Okay, so for the rhetorical analysis, we just need to select 3 choices the author made to convey their message. It's okay, you can just go back to rhetorical analysis later. Let's just start with the argument.
Five minutes remaining. Time's up.